A strange signal echoed through Ascendari space. At first, it was just noise static, low pulses, ancient code. The listening posts brushed it off, but then someone cleaned it up. And one sentence came through, strong and clear. We remember. Earth. Admiral Zeloff stood frozen. He was inside the command center of the Radiant Spear, the largest ship in the Ascendari fleet. The lights flickered softly as the signal repeated. We remember Earth. That word Earth had not been spoken in centuries. The humans were wiped out during the Purge Wars. The Ascendari claimed victory. History said Earth was burned to ash. Their ships were shattered. Their cities turned to glass. Every record confirmed extinction. So why? Why now? Why that signal? And from where? Flashback. 300 years ago, the Purge Wars had been brutal. Humanity, fierce and clever, refused to kneel. They fought with fire and fury. The Ascendari thought it would be easy. But the humans adapted. They hacked Ascendari systems. They poisoned stars. They turned moons into weapons. But in the end, they fell. The final attack was swift. Earth was bombed with sun-cracking rounds. Nothing should have survived. The last human signal was a scream. After that, silence. Present Gaia, a week after the signal, a Deep Space Patrol ship watcher's eye found something strange. They were scouting Sector 19 Gamma, far beyond any safe routes. It was dead space, abandoned after the wars. But there, in orbit around a black rock, floated the remains of an old Ascendari research outpost. Burned, twisted, destroyed. Captain Varel and her crew boarded it, searching for answers. Inside, everything was scorched. Walls melted, screens shattered, skeletons still strapped to chairs. But that wasn't the worst part. On the far wall, burned deep into the metal, was a symbol, a human symbol, a circle around a blue dot, Earth's mark, ancient and unmistakable. Below it, scratched in another language. See you. Captain Virel sent the data straight to High Command. 3 hours later, her ship went dark. No signal. No distress call. Just gone. In the Radiant Spear, Admiral Zeloff reviewed the footage again and again. It's impossible, he muttered. This must be a trick. But the energy signature around the station wasn't Ascendari tech. It was human. Old, but powerful. Someone was out there, someone using lost human designs. Council meeting was called in orbit of Ascendari Prime. Generals, admirals, scientists, all trying to explain what they saw. The humans are gone, one said. This is someone mimicking them. Then why use an extinct symbol? Another asked. Why now? They want us to panic. And they did. All across the Empire, old memories woke. The Purge Wars were never fully understood. There were rumors, always rumors, secret escape ships, deep vaults, AI bunkers hidden in stars. What if something had survived? What if humanity didn't die? In a dark corner of space, past nebulous storms and shattered moons, a hidden vessel drifted. Black hole, silent engines, eyes everywhere. On its side, faded but clear, Saul's vengeance inside. The bridge was dim. A single figure stood by the window, human, tall, armored, quiet. He watched the Ascendari patrols swarm their systems, searching. He said nothing, but behind him, lights glowed on a table. Maps of ancient battlefields, ruins of Ascendari colonies. Targets. Plans. Let them wonder. He said, voice low. Let them fear. We remember Earth. The Ascendari High Command was in chaos. Admiral Zeloff stood alone in the War Council chamber, his pale hands clenched behind his back. Giant holograms showed the burned research station. Everything was blackened. No life signs, no logs, no survivors, Only that one symbol, the ancient human crest, scorched into the metal wall. Zeleth's voice was calm, but his eyes were cold. This should not be possible. Humanity was destroyed. Counselor Vedros leaned forward, scales twitching. Then explain the signal. Explain the wreckage. The silence in the room was heavy. Centuries ago, the Astendari had crushed Earth. They sent fleets of fire. No humans escaped, or so they believed. The purge had been complete. Earth's surface was turned to glass. But now, someone remembered Earth. The signal, the symbol, and something worse, something still watching them. A new report arrived. Another outpost, this one on the edge of a gas giant's moon, was gone. No distress signal, no alarm, just silence. When a scout ship arrived, they found nothing but ash. Again. The same human mark. Zeleth's voice lowered. This is not random. This is a message. *** Commander Dreth, captain of the Astendari patrol ship Seeker's Grace, stared at the stars on his forward screen. He didn't trust silence anymore. Space used to feel empty. Now it felt haunted. Keep scanners on full range, he ordered. I want to see every dust particle out there. His crew obeyed, but they were nervous. Everyone had seen the reports. Everyone whispered the same word, human. One of his lieutenants, young and sharp, leaned in. Sir, permission to speak freely? Dreth nodded. What if they survived? What if Earth wasn't fully destroyed? Dreth didn't answer. He looked out at the dark. Something was out there. Something angry. Something patient. He thought of the third outpost, the one found yesterday. It hadn't just been burned. It had been cut. Walls sliced clean. Armor melted from inside. No signs of normal weapons. And in the central command room, written in ancient Earth language, you burned our world. We remember. ***, back on the Astendari. Homeworld. Panic was rising. The scientists tried to calm the public. They said it was likely pirates using old human myths, but the military knew better. Human tech was gone. But someone had reactivated something old. Something powerful. Ancient data recovered from the ruins of Earth spoke of Project Sol's vengeance. A doomsday ship, never confirmed to exist. It was a myth, a ghost ship, a last hope, built in the final days of humanity. Zeloth never believed it. Until now. Now that name had returned. A patrol ship, stationed near the ruins of an old human station, had sent a final transmission before vanishing. The voice was clear, and it echoed across all secure channels. We are the fire you buried, and we are awake. ***, deep in a forgotten sector of space, a shadow moved between the stars. No lights. No signal. Just silence. Inside the vessel, ancient systems hummed. The ship's hull was black and scarred, marked with battles long past. The name on its side, half-faded, read, Sol's Vengeance. The crew inside were not ordinary humans. They were descendants of those who had escaped Earth's fall, raised in the void, trained in silence. Children of Vengeance. Their leader, Captain Alaravos, stood before a display of Astendari colonies. We strike again, she said. She pressed a button. One word lit the screen. Ready. As engines roared to life, she whispered. They thought we were gone, but we were only waiting. ***, back on the Astendari homeworld, Zeloth stared at the stars, his mind racing. He had fought humans long ago. He remembered their stubbornness, their rage, their refusal to surrender. If Sol's vengeance was truly back, then the Astendari had only one choice: prepare for war. But this time, it would not be a war of dominance. It would be a war of survival, because the humans didn't want peace. They wanted the galaxy to remember what was done to Earth, and they were ready to burn everything to make sure it never happened again. Captain Varros stood in the command deck of the Veralia, staring at the replayed footage. Again and again, he watched the symbol, the old Earth emblem, burned into the steel wall of the destroyed Ascendari outpost. It didn't make sense. Humanity was gone. They were erased in the Great Purge over 300 years ago. That's what history said. That's what every Ascendari child was taught. But now, the bridge crew was silent. Even the humming of the ship felt nervous. Varros finally broke the silence. Run the scan again. I want to know exactly when that symbol appeared. The science officer, Lieutenant Zell, nodded quickly and tapped. Her screen. Already doing it, sir. Radiation decay suggests it's only weeks old. That means someone was there, recently. Someone human, Varros said, voice low. And angry, Zell added, her fingers trembling slightly. This wasn't a random attack. It was a message. Another officer turned from his station. Sir, what if this is revenge? Varros turned away, walking to the large viewport. The stars stretched out endlessly before him, cold and silent. Revenge? The humans were destroyed. Their cities turned to glass. Their ships melted into nothing. Not even bodies remained. The Ascendari made sure of that, didn't they? Before anyone could speak again, the lights flickered. A low static hum filled the air, buzzing through the consoles. Zell frowned. We're getting interference. Not natural. Source? Varros asked sharply. I don't know. It's coming from nearby space. Low band frequency. Very old tech. Varros stepped closer. Put it on speakers. A hiss filled the room. Then, a voice, slow, deep, human. We remember Earth. We remember the stars. We remember you. The bridge fell completely still. The voice vanished. Varros's hands clenched. Where is that signal coming from? Zell shook her head. It's bouncing. Origin point is hidden. But it's close. Suddenly, an alarm blared. A tactical officer shouted, Unknown ship. Dead zone sector 9. It just appeared. Visual. Varros snapped. The screen lit up. A massive ship hung in space like a shadow, barely visible against the void. No known registry, no signals. No movement, but the name was clear, painted in ancient Terran letters still glowing faintly. Saul's Vengeance. Gasps echoed across the deck. Varros's heart pounded. He whispered, It's real. The ship didn't move. It didn't fire. It only watched. Are they scanning us? Someone asked. No, Zell replied. They're just looking. Varros stared at the ghost ship. Try to hail them. She did. No response. Keep trying. Time passed. 5 minutes. 10. 20. The Veralia sat in the dark, facing the silent shadow of Earth's vengeance. Then suddenly, without warning, the human ship turned. No engines fired. It simply shifted like space itself, bent around it. And then it vanished. Gone, Zell said. No jump signature, no drive trail. It just disappeared. Varros didn't speak. His mind was racing. How was it possible? Humanity had been primitive, at least compared to the Ascendari Empire. The purge was brutal but efficient. There were no survivors. No ships left. No colonies. Yet someone survived. And not just survived. They evolved. Plot all nearby systems, he ordered. Any place with old Terran colonies, old battlefields, anything. We're going hunting. But sir, Zell said quietly. What? If they're hunting us? Varros didn't answer. Meanwhile, deep in the dark side of an asteroid belt, Saul's Vengeance floated like a ghost. Inside, it was quiet. No crew noise. No chatter. Just soft lights and cold metal dot at the center of the command chamber. A single figure stood, clad in old, dark combat armor scarred, and Warren, a human, stared at a screen showing the Varelia's last movements. Captain Veros. The human muttered dot behind him. Another voice spoke soft, mechanical. The ship's aye. He took the bait. Ascendari fleet movements now tracking toward the decay zone. Good, the man said. His voice was calm, but heavy with purpose. Let them come. We're not finished yet. The AI spoke again. Do you wish to activate the next signal? Yes, broadcast it system-wide. A hum passed through the ship dot and across half the sector. Ancient transmitters, long buried and forgotten, sparked to life. Every Ascendari outpost, station, and patrol ship heard the same thing. You thought we were gone. We were just waiting. Now it's your turn to run. In the cold silence of deep space, fear moved faster than light. The Ascendari High Council met in a secured chamber, far from the public. Their leaders, robed in black and gold, sat in a circle of crystal thrones. In the center, a glowing image floated, an ancient earth symbol. It was carved into metal, shard, and unmistakable. Impossible, whispered Counselor Threx. His voice trembled. The humans were erased. Nothing survived. They were thorough, another said, but not thorough enough. Admiral Zeloth stood tall, his silver armor dim in the council's light. This wasn't just a raid, he said. They left the symbol on purpose. A message. Counselor Rayla narrowed her eyes. Then they want us to know they're back. Zeloth nodded. And they want us to remember what we did. A cold silence filled the room. Even the air systems seemed to hush. They won't fight like before, Rayla added. They were always clever. But now they've had time to change, time to evolve. One counselor slammed the table. Then we strike first. Wipe out whatever's left. Burn every system they once touched. But Zeloth shook his head. We don't know where they are. The signal came from the dark edge beyond our mapped space. And their ship, it vanished like a shadow, far across the galaxy, in a forgotten system of broken moons and dead suns. The hidden vessel Saul's Vengeance moved in silence. Its hull was scarred, old, but its core burned with power. Ancient human technology merged with something new, something far beyond what the Ascendari had seen during the Purge. Inside, a figure stood before a long screen. He wore no uniform, no rank, just a simple black suit lined with silver threads. His eyes glowed faintly, like stars. His name was Rael, and he was born after Earth burned. Rael stared at the map. Ascendari ships were shifting, panicked. Good. They're afraid. He said. A voice answered from behind him. Female. Calm. Robotic. Fear is the first step toward collapse. Rael turned to the AI core. It hovered in a glass sphere alive, with light. Athena, he said, run the protocol. We target the relay hub next. Confirmed, Athena replied. Shall I send the message again? Rael smiled. It was a sad smile. A human smile. Yes, he whispered. Let them hear us. In 3 Ascendari systems, command relays blinked with static. Civilian broadcasts cut to black. Then, a voice calm, male, human echoed across their networks. We remember Earth. We remember the Purge. This is not revenge. This is justice. Then the screen burned to white. A human eye appeared, cold, mechanical, and then vanished. Across the Empire, fear bloomed like fire. Admiral Zeloth watched the reports come in. His officers scrambled. Orders were confused. Entire fleets were redirected. And worst of all, whispers spread among the soldiers. They're back. The ghosts of Earth. The fire from the past. Morale collapsed. And in space, morale was everything dot at the same time. On the planet Doralis, a former human colony now held by Ascendari Command, The local station went offline. A patrol ship was sent. It never returned. Later, drones arrived. The city was empty. Every soldier gone. No signs of battle. Just a single word, carved into the stone of the central tower. Returned. Inside Saul's vengeance, Rael watched it all. The data feeds. The panic. The fear. Athena spoke. We have 6 targets lined up. 4 Ascendari warlords. 1 research base. 1 prison facility. Rael's eyes narrowed. The prison, he said. Go there next. Coordinates locked. Rael turned, staring out into the dark. Earth. Fell once, he said softly. We won't fall again. The ship shifted, folding into light, and vanished. Back on the Estengari homeworld, Counselor Rayla sat alone in her chambers. She opened a locked case. Inside, a human artifact. A child's toy, burned, scarred, from Earth itself. She had kept it as a trophy, but now it shook in her hand. Outside her window, alarms began to sound. A fleet had appeared in orbit. No warnings. No calls, just one message on repeat. We remember Earth. Her hands trembled. The stars had belonged to the Ascendari. Once. But now, something had returned from the dark, and it remembered everything. The Ascendari War Council gathered in silence. The room, wide and golden, pulsed with soft light. But today, it felt cold. Admiral Zeloth stood at the center, his face stern. Around him, nobles, generals, and scientists watched the screen above. It showed the human vessel Saul's Vengeance, still floating beyond the outer systems. Silent. Watching. For 5 days. It hadn't moved. Not one transmission. Not one signal. And yet, it was there. Why haven't we attacked it? Asked General Keltra. Her voice sharp, her fingers tapping the table. Zeloth didn't answer at first. Then, calmly, he said, because we don't know what it is. They all stared at him. It's just a ship, Keltra snapped. No, replied Zeloth. He pointed to the footage. Watch. The video looped. A nearby patrol vessel had moved close to the mysterious human ship. The patrol vanished. No explosion. No debris. Just gone. They erased it, Zeloth said. Like it was never there. Across the stars, near the edge of forgotten space, a small group of Ascendari scouts entered an old war zone. This place was where Earth's last stand had happened long ago. Burned ships floated in silence. Pieces of the old human defense fleet. Most were just metal skeletons now. The lead scout, Commander Terrace, spoke softly. This is where we wiped them out. His partner, Varen, nodded. Nothing here but ghosts. Then Varen stopped. What is that? A shadow moved between the wreckage. The two turned on their lights. Their beams landed on a helmet. A human helmet. Old, cracked, but glowing softly. Suddenly, the light inside the helmet blinked once. Then again. Morse code. Varen stepped back. No, that's not possible. Commander Terrace stared. What's it saying? Viren whispered, we are still here. Then the wreckage around them lit up. Not just one helmet. Hundreds. Thousands. All blinking the same message. And then everything went black. Back on Ascendari Prime. Are you sure it's real? Asked High Scholar Dren. The room was filled with silence. We thought the humans were extinct, said another. We saw their world burn. No, Zeloth said. We saw what they wanted us to see. He turned on the next screen. It showed new evidence. Patrols disappearing. Research stations burned. Human symbols left behind like warnings. A circle. A star. A word. Terra. This isn't revenge, Iloth said quietly. It's a resurrection. Deep in the shadows of space. Inside Saul's Vengeance, Everything was quiet. No voices. Just the hum of old engines. The whisper of systems waking up after centuries. A human woman stood at the center console. Her eyes cold. Her face scarred. Her name was Commander Lynn Voss. She was one of the last born before the purge. But she wasn't alone. In cryo chambers behind her. Hundreds of humans slept. Old soldiers. Survivors. Waiting. She looked at the star map. The time is near, she whispered. Her hand hovered over a button marked Echo. She pressed it. And across the stars, old human satellites hidden for centuries suddenly woke up. They sent out the same signal. We remember Earth. Ascendari Outpost 7, near the edge of the galactic rim. They picked up the signal. The technicians panicked. One shouted, "It's the same transmission." Human code. Before anyone could act, the lights shut down. A low, deep sound echoed through the base. Metal groaned. Then the walls cracked. From above, a black shape dropped through the roof. An armored figure. Tall, inhumanly silent. Its chest plate wore one word, Soul. Then everything turned red. Back on Ascendari Prime. Zeloth watched the reports flood in. Outposts destroyed. Ships lost. No enemy seen. Just fire. Smoke. And the human message burned into every wall. They were waiting, he said. Waiting for what? Someone asked. Zeloth turned. For us to forget them. He stood slowly. And now they're reminding us. He looked out the window at the stars. They ruled the stars before. Now they're coming back. The fleet trembled. Not from weapons. Not from impact. From silence. In the dark edge of the Virian expanse, the Ascendari command ship Talon's Crest floated still, cold, and surrounded. All systems were online. Shields, weapons, communications. But no one on board spoke. Outside, hundreds of human ships had appeared. Not from warp. Not from known routes. They emerged from nowhere, and they made no sound. Admiral Zeloth stood frozen, eyes locked on the main screen. The ship, Saul's Vengeance, led the formation. Its hull was cracked, blackened, burning faint red, like it had risen from fire. It's not possible, whispered Sub-Commander Vil. But the Vengeance was real. So were the others behind it. Old designs, strange tech, mixed with newer, unknown weapons. Ships built from pain, not from fury, not from survival. Why? Why don't they attack? Another officer, Stammered. No answer. And then across every ship, every Ascendari station, every comms line in the quadrant of voice came through. Deep, calm, human. We remember Earth. Zeloth's blood froze. The signal repeated, then changed. You buried us in flame, but you forgot we were born in it. Across the stars, human ships powered weapons. Lights across Ascendari systems turned red. Their most secret facilities went dark. Their hidden weapons caches were already gone. Zeloth slammed his fist on the console. Find where they came from. Trace their entry. No one moved, the AI replied. Instead, their vector is untraceable. They did not come from known space. What does that mean? A technician turned, pale. It means they came from nowhere, or from places we've never mapped. An explosion rocked one of their border stations. It didn't come from outside. It came from within. Suddenly, reports flooded in. Ships missing. Commanders dead. Human saboteurs discovered inside military labs disguised as Ascendari scientists. Been inside the whole time. Embedded. Waiting. Spying. Learning. And now, unleashing. On the bridge of Saul's Vengeance, Captain Alina Reyes stood calmly. Her eyes scanned the enemy fleet. I count 27 primary flagships, her officer said. Should we begin Phase 2? Alina's voice was steady. No. Not yet. She touched a worn patch on her chest, an old Earth emblem. Let them feel it first, she said. Let them remember what they made us become. She turned to the screen. Patch us through. Open audio to every Ascendari ship. Her face appeared on the view screens of the Ascendari fleet. Human. Scarred. Alive. I am Captain Reyes of Earth. You thought you ended us. You destroyed our world. But in doing so, you gave birth to something worse. She leaned forward, her eyes burning with cold fire. You made us into ghosts with teeth. Silence. Then she spoke the last words slowly. You ruled the stars. But now the stars remember us, and they burn for us. The signal cut. On the Ascendari command ship, Admiral Zeloth shouted, "Launch every fighter. Fire all weapons, now." But nothing fired. No drones launched. No missiles responded. The tech officers looked terrified. Sir, the codes. They're not working. A red symbol flashed across their screens. Human symbol. Their systems had been hijacked. From the inside. Suddenly, across their fleet, human ships moved. Not forward, but through. Bending space in impossible ways. Twisting physics. Reality itself shimmered. New human tech. Not seen before. Built from secrets stolen, from science pushed too far. One by one, Ascendari ships vanished. Not exploded. Erased. As if they were never there. The Talon's crest was next. Zeloth stared into the screen, watching the Sol's vengeance come closer. No, he whispered. You were extinct. A final message blinked on his console. From Earth. Extinction is just a pause. And then everything went white. Hours later, only debris floated in the silence. Sol's vengeance remained, watching the ruins. Inside, Alina gave her final command. Transmit everything. Footage, coordinates, truth. Let the galaxy see. Let them know. The fleet of Earth had returned. From nowhere. From darkness, from death. And now, it was their turn to rule the stars. But they would not rule with mercy. They would rule with memory. And fire.